Hey everyone, Robert here, author of Expansion Mastery, the practical guide to living a fully engaged life. Are you ready to start living your life to the fullest? Well, then we need to raise our vibrations because the times are a little challenging, aren't they? Well, that's what today's show is all about. So, Jordan, can we have some podcast intro music, please? Welcome back to the show, everyone. I thought I'd change up the intro music and use a piece that was mixed and composed by my 13-year-old grandson, Jordan. So I would like to thank Jordan for sharing his incredible music with us. He is really just a fantastic young man, and I am very, very honored to be his grandpa. I love you, buddy, and thank you so much for the music. Well, are these unprecedented, extraordinary times we're living in, or what? So it's important to remember a universal law. The greater the obstacle, the greater the adversity, the greater the opportunity. So we need to find the opportunity within these times. And believe me, there are plenty of opportunities. It's an incredible opportunity to reinvent ourselves and emerge a whole new person, the person we desire to be. There are so many things going on right now, and there are so many people starting to wake up. Regardless if it's at a very initial stage of awakening or a more advanced stage of awakening. You might be experiencing some of this yourself. You might have this feeling where something needs to change. You need to change. You need something different in your life. Your life needs to be something different. Right now, you're being given the opportunity to figure that out and get it started. So there are just so many people starting to awaken to various degrees, whether the initial stage, as I was saying, is sort of, well, you can see what's going on in the world. You're seeing through the illusions that are being placed in front of us all the time. Or if you're advancing spiritually into higher states of mindfulness or awakening, right? This is happening for people right now. And this is what I was saying clear back in 2012 was meant to start happening. And it was. The Hopi and the Mayans know of what I'm talking about. They know this very well. Even if we look at this with a more Taoist perspective, my wife brought this to my attention just the other day. She said, back around 2012, you started to tell us then that the world would have to have the energy go to this point of extreme yang in order for it to burst and start to become into the yin energy, which is a cycle we're going into. And it's true. What I talked about over 8 years ago still holds true. We are in a time where the energy is reaching this extreme yang point. It's getting to be very extreme. This is why we see such ludicrous things happening and people going to such crazy extremes. So this is an incredible point of time for the energy around us. And it gives us this opportunity to awaken And I can't help but laugh a little bit because it only took for the entire world to shut down for us to start to awaken. They just had to shut down all of the distractions, all of the sports, all of the stores to prevent shopping, all of the nail salons, all of the restaurants, all of the bars. They just had to shut all these things down. And if you look at it, these are all the things that distract us from awakening. These are all things that prevent us from having the time and the focus to invest on our own spiritual growth, our spiritual expansion. So all these things have been removed, right, for a couple of months now. So you should be awakening. You should be making it much further in your expansion. Because along with all of the distractions being removed, guess what else was removed? Oh, you got it. Your excuses. You have no excuses right now. None. None of us do. We don't have any excuse not to invest more time into our spiritual expansion. Now is the time. And if we all come together right now and we all start making this effort, we're going to help this energy, this collective energy of expansion, of shifting into awakening to happen. Now, I don't like all of the politics and media and all that stuff that's going on. And what they're doing is trying to create a lot of fear and panic and division, which lowers our vibration. But see, they couldn't do that without also offering the opportunity for us to do just the opposite and raise our vibration and awaken the very thing they don't want us to do. They have inadvertently provided us with the perfect opportunity to do this. The question is, are you taking advantage of it? You know, I received a wonderful email from an Expansion Mastery fan in Australia, a wonderful woman who purchased my book, read it, and liked it so much that she then recommended it to a couple friends, one of which was suffering from anxiety, and she was telling me that she's already made progress in that area. She's not near as anxious. I'm so thrilled to hear stuff like that. I mean, come on. That's amazing. So you see, you can use what's in my book. You can use the information I'm supplying on these podcasts to not give in to the fear and suffer from anxiety and depression. You don't need to do that. You can actually go the opposite direction. The choice is yours. It always has been. You have the power to decide. You have the power to realize that you don't have to be this certain way. You can choose which way that you desire to be. You can choose to live in a high vibration, joyful filled life, regardless of what's going on around you. No, maybe we can't do all the things that we long to do and we've enjoyed doing for so long. But this too is a temporary situation. So stay strong. And if you have to stay strong, why not take the opportunity to get even stronger, to increase your inner strength? You can increase your outer strength. You have time to work out now, right? So, I mean, look at the benefit placed at our feet. Now, that doesn't mean this should last forever. Absolutely not. But it gives us the moment we need to get some real traction in our spiritual advancement, so that once things open up and we start to go back to normal and we're working again and all the distractions are placed in front of us, we are then able to take our ox to the market. Do you know what I mean by that? I've referred to it several times. It's a Zen phrase that is referring to the fact that all of the progress that we make in meditation, in our meditative practices, in our mindfulness, we are then capable of taking that out and maintaining it in our day-to-day life while we are out interacting with the world. That's the true test of all of this, isn't it? You know, my wife and I were talking the other day, and we were talking about how through the development of authentic mindfulness, and this is not the Western definition of mindfulness. What I am talking about is a very specific set of training, mental training, spiritual training to attain this mental state referred to as mindfulness. And we were recognizing how difficult things are right now for ourselves as well as everyone else. But we concluded that we were not going to allow any of this to detract from our time together. And we strive to be mindful of every single moment that we have together because we know it's a fleeting circumstance, right? We know this can't last forever. We don't live forever. And we don't want to waste a single solitary moment that we have to spend together. And with that alone, how can our vibration lower? It can't, because we get to be together. We get to enjoy one another. We get to live our life together. Regardless of what's going on, we are a constant in all of this chaos. And we understand that the only moment is the present moment, and that eternal present moment is an incredibly precious thing. And in this extremely small blip in the eternal time, we get to spend this time together. And neither of us want to waste that. We're not going to waste a moment of it. Regardless of what's going on in the world, we still laugh and love, not succumbing to the anxiety and fear of the outside world. And this time being locked down together is very difficult for a lot of couples because they're struggling in their relationship. It's had the opposite effect with us. We have still never, since the time we've been together, fought and argued. And this quarantine lockdown has not placed any stress on our relationship at all. So if you are in a relationship, if you are fortunate enough to be in a happy, healthy, loving relationship, then I would ask you to take a moment and sit back and just contemplate this idea. What if you could be aware of your time together with this person every moment? If you were constantly aware of just how precious it was and you never became mindless in cherishing that, imagine what that would do for your relationship. Imagine what that would do for the quality of life for you both. Because there is no higher vibrational frequency state for us to live in than that of love and appreciation. And it is mindfulness that gives you the ability. And if you study this together and you develop it together, I've got a number of clients I take through mindfulness practices, and I help them develop it step by step in a very practical, non-dogmatic manner. And that gives them the power to be aware of the incredible, precious nature of every single moment, and to be able to apply that, to see that within their relationship. This is priceless, absolutely priceless. I mean, think about that for a moment, right? If you truly love the person you're with, think about that. If you're at a point where you're drawing your last breath, and you realize that you are on the brink of never being able to spend another moment with them again, at least in this lifetime, in this form, would you have any regrets for all of the times you wasted fighting, arguing, acting indifferent, and all of that other stuff? Or are you going to be able to smile and realize that you lived every moment you had together to the fullest? And you know, even without going through the actual practices of mindfulness, you have the ability to increase your sense of mindfulness using this example right now. You can begin right now, just staying more aware of every moment you have together and realizing that every single moment that you share with this person you love, this is love. It is sacred. You get to share this sacred moment together, the sacred experience together. Can you think of any better way to invest the time of your life than that? So even if your current situation has been challenging or even extremely difficult, which it has become so for many, please don't lose sight of this fact. If you can keep your vibration up, you will be able to attract something more positive into your life. Positive opportunities will present themselves to you. You'll be able to recognize them much easier if your vibration is high and if you are mindful. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't sit back and think to myself just how incredibly fortunate and blessed I am to be able to be here right now with the woman I get to share my life with. And I'll explain one reason why. If you've read my book, you understand the emergency heart surgery situation that I went through. And one of the things that was very eye-opening to me for that is I found out that a month before I was undergoing that surgery, a second cousin of mine who was the exact same age as I passed away from the exact same situation. Evidently, in that side of the family, there was a particular genetic defect with this vessel around the heart. And like I said, we were the exact same age. And the month before, he had the exact same thing happen, only he passed away from it, where I was able to live through it. And I spent a lot of time after I heard this news thinking to myself, why me? Why was I the lucky one? It could have just as easily have been him. And I do attribute a lot of that to my martial arts training and my internal energy arts training. And the surgeon even substantiated some of that. But regardless of that, I realized that it could have just as easily been me. And I was given this opportunity, this second chance. Again, out of a tremendous life-threatening obstacle, I was given an opportunity. I was given an opportunity to pay more attention to my life. I had already been trained in mindfulness. I'd been studying mindfulness for decades and developing that. But this catapulted me into a whole new level. And I'm just not going to be mindless at any single point in my life ever again. I'm not going to waste it. I'm not going to throw this opportunity away when it's something so incredibly precious. I won't do it. And I made the hard calls and I made the necessary changes in my life that would allow me to do just that. And my wife is the biggest part of this, because every morning when I wake up, I turn and I look at her, and my heart opens and overflows, and I think about just how damn lucky I am. And I'm not going to waste a single moment that I have to spend with such an incredible woman. And I apply the same sort of thing when I'm with either of my daughters or my grandchildren or my friends. I want to be there completely for all of them, for everybody. And I want to make sure that because of any moment that we have together, their life is just a little bit better. And in the process, I get the honor and privilege to be mindful on a level that most people never attain in their lifetime. I get to be that mindful of our connection and our time together and the things we're doing. You can do this too. You can live that way as well. It's just a choice. It's as simple as a choice. Just make the right choice. This way you don't need some life-threatening situation to come along and slap you in the head the way it did me, right? You get to actually ease into it a little bit. So I would ask you to try something for me. It's more like really trying it for yourself, but that's fine. So take the necessary steps. Get your vibration up. Hey, if you want to watch something on TV, watch a comedy. Get your vibration up. Laugh, smile, talk to some people around you. Interact with your friends and family as much as you can. And if you can only do it virtually, fine. But if not, talk to people face to face. Talk to your neighbor. Go to their house and interact with one another and realize that it's so special. See, we've been locked down and isolated for a while. So now when we go back out in the world and we get to interact with one another, wow, you have been given an incredible opportunity. You've been given an obstacle, and when that obstacle is removed, you have the opportunity to then go back out and go, wow, you know what? I'm never going to take this for granted again. I'm never going to take for granted being able to interact with people in whatever way we have to interact. It can be much nicer, friendlier, more connected now, but especially to those people who are prominent in your life. So get your vibration up, open your heart, spend a little time in meditation, do some of these things, listen to some uplifting music, whatever works for you. And if you don't have a lot of ideas, I did an entire podcast on it not that long ago. There's a whole section on this in my book. The answers are right in front of you. Get your vibration up. Reinvent yourself if you want. If you're thrilled with who you are and things are going fine, great. Stay with that. You don't have to change. But if things aren't the way they are in your life, then this is the opportunity you have to change that. And with those people that you interact with the most, especially if you have, a wife or a husband and children or whatever in your house, interact with them, appreciate them, enjoy them. Enjoy every minute. Realize that every moment is precious. And if it takes the fear of dying to give you that, well, most people had that fear over this supposed virus thing going on, right? So use that. Use it as a catalyst, to help you go, whoa, okay, well, regardless of the actual threat of it or lack thereof, it could have been bad. It could have been real bad. And that could have been something that took me out. Think about that for a moment. Think about your own mortality, and then think about how precious every moment is to spend with those you love. You have the ability to take one of the most unprecedented, bizarre obstacles ever presented to the world and make it one of your greatest opportunities that can allow you to reach all new levels of enjoyment in your life, of mindfulness for your life. It can allow you to expand spiritually and really ignite this consciousness shift that is taking place. This is your chance to participate. This is the tipping point, the point of no return. You're not going to get a second chance. This is it. So many of the obstacles in the external observable world have been suspended, giving you an incredible leg up. Now, I'm sure you can still find all kinds of distractions and entertainment if you look hard. You can find a way to waste your life and waste this incredible opportunity. But then it is you who has to accept responsibility for it, and you have to accept full responsibility for it. Right now, You're being given the most tremendous opportunity of your lifetime. So set aside any form of entertainment and distraction. Pick up some spiritual books and start reading them. Whatever style or system suits you, doesn't make any difference. Spend time in meditation. Spend time going through meditative practices. I have given you for free so many mindfulness training exercises, so many meditative practices, and explain to you how to do actual real meditation itself, all for free through these podcasts. All you have to do is look through the library. Go for it. This is the time to replace those bad habits with good ones. So they say in every cloud there's a silver lining, right? This is a pretty huge silver lining that I'm pointing out. There are obviously people catching on to this fact because people are waking up. Now that the distractions have been greatly removed, they're waking up. Join us and start living a fully engaged life. Do you understand now what I mean by living a fully engaged life? Everything that I've shared with you in this episode should illustrate that to an incredibly eye-opening degree. And right now you have a window of opportunity where it's going to be easier for you than it has ever been possible in your life previously. You can do this. You got this. It is time right now, it is time for you to live a fully engaged life. Please make sure and visit me at www.expansionmastery.com. Grab your autographed copy of Expansion Mastery. And, of course, the newly revised and expanded edition of my ebook on reinventing yourself. Soon, very soon, the Breathing Mastery program will be available. You do not want to miss out on that. In the meantime, do all the social media stuff that you do, the likes, the shares, the comments, the subscriptions. Pass this stuff on. Please feel free to share this podcast with anyone you want in order to help push this consciousness shift along. Until next time, my friends, I wish you the very best in your practices and your life. And I will leave you with that incredible piece of music from my grandson once again. Make sure and listen to it all the way through. It's really nicely done. Take care.